Welcome to the channel, where the world unfolds one story at a time. From the hidden forces shaping global politics to the breakthroughs transforming science, technology, and space, we break down complex ideas into stories that are clear, engaging, and thought-provoking. Here, history connects with today's headlines, and the biggest events in our world become stories you can truly understand. So if you're curious about the world and the forces shaping our future, you're in the right place, and buckle up. Imagine being told as a child that you are too stupid to learn. Your teachers think you're slow. Your classmates laugh at you. Even adults begin to believe you will never accomplish anything. Now imagine that same child grows up to become one of the most famous inventors in human history, a man whose ideas helped shape the modern world, a man who held over 1,000 patents, a man whose inventions gave us electric light, recorded sound, motion pictures, and entire industries that still exist today. That man was Thomas Edison. But the truth about Edison's story is not as simple as genius inventor. Some people call him the greatest innovator in history. Others accuse him of stealing ideas and crushing competitors. And his rivalry with another legendary inventor, Nikola Tesla, would turn into one of the most dramatic technological battles ever. So how did a boy once described as an idiot become a man who changed the world? To understand that, we need to go back to the beginning. Thomas Edison was born in 1847 in Ohio. From the moment he was young, he behaved differently than other children. He asked questions constantly. Not simple questions like, "What is that?" but complicated ones like, "Why does this work? How does electricity move? What would happen if we changed this?" His curiosity was endless. But instead of praising this curiosity, many adults saw it as a problem. Teachers complained that he was distracted and slow. One teacher reportedly described him as mentally defective. Eventually, Edison was pulled out of school entirely. Most children would have fallen behind, but Edison was lucky because his mother believed in him. She decided to teach him herself at home. Instead of forcing him to memorize lessons he didn't care about, she encouraged his curiosity. She let him explore, experiment, ask questions, and this freedom would shape the rest of Edison's life. Edison's curiosity often got him into trouble. One day, he saw a goose sitting on its eggs and wondered how they hatched, so he secretly took the eggs and tried to hatch them himself. Another time, he started a fire in his father's barn simply because he wanted to see what would happen. To most adults, this looked like reckless behavior. But in reality, Edison was already thinking like a scientist. He wasn't just curious. He needed to experiment. He needed to test ideas. And that drive would become the foundation of his future success. But life soon dealt him a major challenge. At the age of 12, Edison began working on trains. He sold newspapers, snacks, and candy to passengers. To most kids, this would have been a boring job, but Edison loved it because trains were full of machines. The machines fascinated him. Soon, he set up a small laboratory in a train baggage car where he conducted experiments while working. But one day, something went wrong. A bottle of chemicals fell and started a fire. The conductor threw Edison and his equipment off the train. Not long after that, Edison suffered an accident that damaged his hearing. Over time, he became almost completely deaf. For many people, this would have been devastating. But Edison saw it differently. He later said his deafness helped him concentrate better because he wasn't distracted by noise. Sometimes, what looks like a weakness becomes an advantage. As Edison grew older, he became fascinated by a new technology that was revolutionizing communication: the telegraph. Telegraph machines could send messages instantly across long distances. It was the internet of the 1800s. Edison quickly learned how to operate telegraph equipment. But there was one problem. He didn't like following instructions. Instead of doing his job normally, Edison constantly experimented with the machines. He invented small improvements, tested new ideas, modified equipment. Employers didn't appreciate this, and he kept getting fired, over and over again. But every job taught him something new, and eventually, those lessons would lead to a breakthrough. In his early 20s, Edison arrived in New York City completely broke. He had no money, no food, no place to sleep. Then one day, something incredible happened. A telegraph machine that controlled stock market prices suddenly stopped working. This machine was extremely important because half of Wall Street relied on it. Nobody could fix it, until Edison stepped forward. He examined the machine and immediately spotted the problem. A tiny spring had come loose and jammed the mechanism. He repaired it within minutes. The company was so impressed that they hired him on the spot. And soon after, Edison invented an improved stock ticker system. The company paid him $40,000 for the patent. That's equivalent to over $1 million today. After years of struggling, Edison suddenly had the money he needed to pursue his real dream, building a laboratory dedicated entirely to invention. Edison created something that had never really existed before, an industrial research laboratory. Instead of working alone, Edison hired engineers, scientists, and machinists to help him develop ideas. Together, they experimented with hundreds of concepts. Edison called this place his idea factory, and it produced inventions at an incredible pace. Within just a few years, Edison filed dozens of patents. He improved telegraph systems, enhanced telephone technology, and created entirely new devices. But his biggest breakthrough came in 1877, the invention of the phonograph. Before Edison's phonograph, sound disappeared forever once it was spoken. There was no way to record it. Edison's phonograph changed that. The machine captured sound vibrations and stored them on a rotating cylinder. Then it could play those sounds back. For the first time in history, people could hear recorded sound. When Edison demonstrated the device, audiences were stunned. It seemed almost magical. Newspapers began calling him the Wizard of Menlo Park. But Edison's most famous invention was still ahead. For thousands of years, humans relied on candles and gas lamps for light. These were dangerous, inefficient, and produced smoke. Electric light had been attempted before, but every attempt failed. The light bulbs burned out almost instantly. Most scientists believed creating a practical electric light was impossible. Edison disagreed. He became obsessed with solving the problem. The key challenge was finding the right filament, the tiny wire inside the bulb that glows when electricity passes through it. Edison and his team tested thousands of materials: cotton, metal wires, carbon, different shapes, different sizes, different electrical currents. The process took years, but eventually they discovered that a carbonized filament could burn for hours without failing. On New Year's Eve, Edison illuminated an entire town with hundreds of electric lights. People traveled from miles away to witness the spectacle. For the first time, it was clear. Electric lighting would change the world. But Edison's story wasn't just about invention. It was also about competition, and his greatest rival was another brilliant inventor, Nikola Tesla. Tesla believed electricity should be transmitted using alternating current, or AC. Edison supported direct current, or DC. AC could travel much longer distances and was more efficient. But Edison had already invested millions building DC systems. Admitting AC was better would destroy his business. So Edison fought back. He launched a massive campaign claiming AC was dangerous. He publicly electrocuted animals using AC electricity to scare people. He even supported the invention of the electric chair using AC power. This became known as the War of the Currents. In the end, Tesla's AC system proved superior and became the global standard. But Edison's inventions still played a huge role in building the electric industry. Even after losing the War of the Currents, Edison kept inventing. He improved the phonograph and helped launch the music recording industry. He invented early motion picture cameras. In fact, Edison's work helped inspire the creation of the film industry. Early filmmakers even moved across the country to escape Edison's patent lawsuits. And those filmmakers eventually settled in a place called Hollywood. Yes, in a strange way, Edison helped create the movie industry. By the end of his life, Thomas Edison had filed 1,093 patents. He built companies worth millions, and his inventions changed everyday life for billions of people. But his legacy remains controversial. Some say he was a brilliant inventor. Others say he was simply a brilliant businessman who knew how to turn ideas into profit. The truth is probably somewhere in between. What cannot be denied is this: the boy, once labeled an idiot, became one of the most influential innovators in human history, and his ideas helped build the world we live in today. If you turn on a light, listen to music, or watch a movie, you're experiencing the legacy of Thomas Edison, a man who proved that curiosity, persistence, and relentless experimentation can change the world, even if everyone tells you that you're an idiot.